What's up? On number 26, I'm going to give you my ROH 9th anniversary show pay-per-view review. Quick note, you might notice a little bit different of the webcam. It's acting a little funny, so I'm just going to do the video like this. But overall, this show was good. I wouldn't call it great. I predicted kind of a more storyline-driven pay-per-view. We kind of didn't get that. But in essence, you know, we have two matches kind of announced for Atlanta now. One was officially announced on the pay-per-view as... Well, if you've seen the pay-per-view, you know the winners of the two tag matches are now facing for the tag titles in Atlanta. And pretty much the winner of Eddie Edwards and Roderick Strong and Manhattan Mayhem 4 in New York City is going to be facing Christopher Daniels in Atlanta if nothing changes. But I still thought this was a good pay-per-view. Nothing too spectacular. This is the worst Ring of Honor pay-per-view. I think I've given every single other one at least a 7.75. I think I gave Final Battle that from last year, Final Battle 2009. This I'm giving lower, so you know, whatever. But Atlanta is looking pretty good right now, so I'm really looking forward to that. First match we got tonight was a weird choice for the opener. I really don't know if I agree with it, and I don't know why they did it here. Probably because there was like no real storyline progression here at all. We would get that out of the way. Colt Cabana versus Davey Richards. I did like this change of pace out of a Davey Richards match. Used to seeing him basically this match with Roderick Strong, full of kickouts and finishers. This is a little different, and I really liked it. A little bit more of a mat-based match. I'm hoping this is what he did with T.J. Perkins, but it's a little more, I guess, a lot more time and just a little bit better of a match. I'm hoping that's what they did. So this is the kind of match I was going for, a little bit more of a European style into it. I really did like it. 3 1/4. Then we got to a 4-corner survival: Steve Corino versus Grizzly, Redwood versus Kyle O'Reilly versus Mike Bennett. It was okay. This is basically to progress whatever feud Mike Bennett and Steve Corino are looking like they're going to go for. Grizzly Redwood did look all right here. O'Reilly looked really, really impressive. Especially they played off of that the entire match. There were some spots where it was just it was just okay. Just some spots here and there that was just a little bit of it wasn't bad, but it didn't come off like it was great. Just the only person who really looked good based off of moves was O'Reilly. Mike Bennett won with a move that didn't look impressive at all, and Steve Corino was basically playing his role well. Besides that, this match wasn't anything special. 2.5, basically, nothing to write home about. Then we got to a match which I could have predicted the outcome for a little bit. Michael Elgin versus El Generico. Generico did look very good, and I liked seeing him in this role, but this definitely worked in storyline. I think a lot of the ROH fans, really didn't want Homicide and Strong to go on last, so this is kind of their way of getting around that. If I had known that, I could have predicted this outcome a mile away coming, but it was good for what it was. Elgin looked super impressive with some of the power stuff he could do. And then Generico looked good with some of the stuff he did as well. This might have been a little bit too many near falls here. I really just felt it could have added a lot more if you just had less of that. So that was that. That led right into Roderick Strong versus Homicide for the original title. They fought in the crowd, and this was just completely lackluster. This is kind of what I was afraid of for this match. And, they kind of save-faced a little by putting it in this position. Like, if this had been the main event, I would be a lot more mad at this pay-per-view. Like, I probably would have rated this under a 7 if you see my score. But, this is just so lackluster for a world title match. And I rate them differently, and that's my personal... I rate these differently than I do any other match for any world title. Because, this is supposed to be, in the world of wrestling... A world title match is supposed to be your two best wrestlers going at it in the company at the current time. So and I don't think Homicide is anywhere close to that in real life. So it's it was just bad in parts. The brawling style was good. There was a good table spot, but besides that, there was really nothing here. 3 stars in my book means good, and it gets 3 stars. Because it was good, but for a world title match, this just felt very lackluster and stupid. I didn't hate the match, but it just left a bad taste in my mouth. I don't know. I just don't know. This is the reason why Homicide should not have a world title shot. I don't think this is Strong's fault at all. This mismatch was just. I don't really like it at all. I mean, I don't know why I'm giving this 3 stars, but I'm probably gonna even lower it. I probably should, but I'm just gonna leave it at 3 stars because that's the rating I'm gonna stick with. Whatever. I just am very indifferent about this match because it's just stupid. Just this is what everyone was afraid about, and we got that. Then we got to out of intermission. We got to Sara Del Rey versus MsChif. I didn't think any women's wrestling could get any worse in Ring of Honor, especially with 2 women like MsChif and Sara Del Rey. You give this like 4 minutes. Like, what do you? Why did you bring in MsChif? That makes no sense. This match, I mean, for a women's 4-minute match, this was okay. But, what the hell? This match was fucking stupid. I mean, you can say stupidity was in 2 of his matches, definitely, and 2 back-to-back matches. Elgin and Generico, I'm a lot higher on people than other people. Bennett, this 4-corner survival is just there. I really liked the opener. And then we got the 3 last matches, which were all very good to great. So, if it wasn't for those, this pay-per-view would have been so boring. I mean, this is, Ring of Honor pay-per-view should not have this much filler and stupidity on it. Especially for Ring of Honor. It has to, go out of their way to put on great pay-per-views time after time after time. This wasn't even close. A 7.25 is good on my scale because of these last 3 matches. These last 3 matches saved the pay-per-view, from being bad. I mean, a 3.25 star match as the opener was very good, and I was like, okay, maybe this pay-per-view will be good and it'll save face. It'll be great even. But the next 4 matches just were, with maybe the exception of Elgin and Generico. This was just this pay-per-view left a bad taste in my mouth, to be completely honest. And then we got 2 Kings of Wrestling versus All Night Express for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles. Great showing here out of all 4 of these men. There's a little bit of a iffy finish, but besides that, this is a really, really good match. I really like the chemistry between these 2 teams. King looked really good, Claudio looked good, Red Titus did his stuff, Chris Hero, did his usual stuff, and they just all combined it in. It was a very, very good tag team match. A little bit of a predictable outcome, and just the finish was iffy because of that. So that took away from it being great. So I'm going to give that 3 3/4. Then we got to Christopher Daniels versus Eddie Edwards for the television title. I'm going to give this match in the night, only because of the storyline progression. Well, not really storyline progression, but just the story they told in the ring. And these are 2 of the best in Ring of Honor currently at it. And, I just love how these 2 work together. Just the old school versus new school style. They pull off perfectly every time they get in the ring. And I really, really like it. The finish, for the second straight pay-per-view, you had the second to last match on the show kind of end in a kind of injury type of way, which I thought was kind of ironic, but we'll see where it goes from there. Obviously, I hope Daniels is okay. It looked really brutal. So, just a great match here, though. I'm big fans of both Daniels and Edwards, so I'm glad to see they got a spot like this, 4 stars. Then we got to the main event, the Briscoe brothers versus Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin. I'm sorry, I'm really tired. This was great. If this was the main event, I was really looking forward to, seeing this go long, not like 45 minutes, but like around 30 would have been good for me, or 25. That's good. But, this went a little under, I believe, what I hoped for. And then the finish, I mean, it wasn't anticlimactic because they were building towards something, but, it looked a lot like the All Night Express finish here, which is the only problem I have. But, it did set up Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin really well, and the Briscoes did look very good in defeat, even though I just gave away a spoiler or whatever. I still just did really, really like it. 4 stars, great match. But overall, this pay-per-view was good. These 3 matches saved the pay-per-view. If you buy this pay-per-view, just watch the last 3 matches. You're not missing anything else. And, I felt they really should have built a lot more towards Atlanta here. Because Atlanta, Jim Cornette came out in intermission and said the show's be called ROH Take Center Stage, and this is going to be, two of the biggest shows in company history. Basically said that. And, you could have announced, if you are trying to book Japanese talent, what better time to announce them than right then when you're already on pay-per-view? If you're going to have some big-time matchup, that hasn't happened before, like you're bringing in Low-Key or something like that, it should have been announced, But all we know right now is it's probably going to be Daniels and Strong again, and then Kings of Wrestling World's Greatest Tag Team 3. So, but overall, still a good show. I mean, there's a lot more filler than I could have cared for, but the streak of great shows had to come to an end at some point, and I'm glad it wasn't one that I was at live, because I'm going to be at both Atlanta pay-per-views live. So, with that, I'll see you guys later.